A baby secret agent with special abilities must team up with his rival brother and fight against a powerful threat that will make dogs the family favorite. Today we're going to recap the story of the movie, The Boss Baby, from 2017. A little boy attacks a giant gorilla, pulling it by the arms and striking it with various blows. In reality, the scene was just a figment of the boy's imagination, thinking he was playing with his parents. In addition, little Timothy thought of adventures in which he saved his parents inside the belly of a shark, or when they saved him in real life by teaching him to ride a bike. Mr. and Mrs. Templeton work in the marketing department of Puppy Co., and although they are very busy, they always have time for their son. One day, the family decides to have another child, even though Tim doesn't agree with the idea of sharing all the attention he receives. In some kind of baby factory, one of the babies is set apart from the rest, because when he takes the tickle test, he doesn't feel a thing. He is given a little suit, a case and a bottle, and then carried in a chair to an office. The day the Templeton couple's new son arrives home, Tim imagines the child getting out of a cab with a suitcase and a suit, until he is snapped out of his reverie when his parents invite him to meet his new companion. Suddenly, the baby starts to cry, and through this he manages to control everyone in the house, upsetting his older brother. One day at play, young Templeton imagines he is investigating a hostile alien invasion with his friend T-Rex. The house is full of toys, but everything starts to become baby items, leaving the boy desperate. During a meal, Tim ends up spilling all the milk as he watches his parents giving all their attention to his baby brother. He then reveals to his parents that there's something wrong with the baby, since he's wearing a suit. As a result, the youngest starts fighting with him. Later, the boy waits for his parents to tell him the story before going to bed, but neither of the two adults shows up to help him. When he goes to look for them, he finds the pair asleep in the living room, exhausted. Suddenly, a phone rings, and on answering it, Tim realizes that the noise is actually coming from upstairs. The young man holds a gun and sneaks into the baby's room. He then comes across his brother in the cradle talking about a mission, as if he were an adult. At the same moment, the boy reveals his presence and the baby tries to disguise it, but soon shows that he can speak. Soon after, he admits that he is the head of an organization, saying that Tim is old and needs to make room for the new generation. Suddenly, he starts destroying a teddy bear in a fight against a toy robot. The boss baby orders his brother to keep his identity a secret, threatening to fire him. The next day, Timothy decides to prove to his parents that his brother isn't who they really think he is. So he dons a ninja costume and sneaks down the hallway of the house, turning off all the lights. However, when he gets to the stairs, he steps on a toy duckling and this causes him to slip down the stairs. He opens his eyes while he's still on the ground and comes across some strange babies who attack him seconds later. In reality, the little monsters are just Boss Baby's friends who have come to play in the house. While the baby has a meeting with his partners, his older brother watches from behind a plant. During the conversation, the boss tells them that dogs are the enemy of babies, and the puppy company is coming up with a new animal prototype that will take over the world and take away all the success that the baby company has. When one of the children swallows a cookie, Boss Baby gets angry with him and destroys a teddy bear. At that moment, Tim is recording everything, but his parents come along and find the moment funny. Timothy grabs the tape and runs to show it to his parents, but is interrupted by a gang of babies. The young man manages to dodge the group and heads for the garden. However, just as Tim is about to enter the house, his enemies appear to block the way and prevent him from continuing. Then the boy turns around and the children chase him frantically. One of them quickly manages to steal the tape, but Timothy holds onto the hose of the truck that was transporting the babies. Everyone flies through the air and an explosion occurs with the impact of the car, but the tape is thrown into the air and the boss baby manages to catch it in his police car. His brother then holds onto the vehicle and is thrown from side to side. When the children manage to corner the boy, he climbs the treehouse and grabs his weapons, throwing several darts at his younger brother, who is protected by the giant baby called Jimbo. Still, Tim manages to steal the tape and runs towards the house. He jumps on the trampoline and leaps to the top floor of the house, but Boss Baby is thrown by his friend to the top floor as well. The two run through the corridors of the house and the youngest ends up rolling down the stairs in an uncontrolled manner. The boy then heads for the office ready to reveal everything to his parents, but ends up running into the boss inside. The baby takes the lamb stuffed animal prisoner and starts threatening his brother, so he ends up tearing up the toy. Faced with the situation, Tim goes berserk and puts Boss Baby in a slingshot. At that moment, the Templeton couple appear, so he gives up on throwing the baby. However, the tape is thrown into the street, where it is destroyed by a passing car. At the same time, the adults punish Tim for misbehaving with his brother, forcing him to stay at home and live with the crying baby. Over the next few days, Timothy imagines being in a solitary cell, then he is interrupted when his younger brother turns up wanting to talk. The baby tries to bribe him with money, and he confesses that he is the manager of a company. In this way, he gives Tim a pacifier that will make him understand the whole scheme he's involved in and know where all the children come from. The pair float up into the sky, where there is a crystal building with Baby Corp written on it. There are dozens of babies there that they can't touch, and the brothers can't be seen either, as they are there as if they were a projection. The place is responsible for receiving all the babies on Earth. They ingest a secret formula capable of slowing down their growth and remain small until they are handed over to their new families. On a screen in the main hall, the youngest shows his brother a graph that represents the distribution of all the love that exists in the world, demonstrating that dogs are taking more and more of people's attention. Boss Baby tells the story of all the bosses who came before him, including his idol, Super Colossal Big Fat Boss Baby, who was the youngest baby executive in the company's history, and for this reason everyone admires him so much. The boss hopes to get a super promotion in a room with a toilet just for him when he finishes his mission to save love. Soon afterwards, the big boss appears very angry, telling the others around her that the little boss hasn't returned with the new data from his mission, but she doesn't realize that the projection of the two brothers is in front of her watching everything. On returning home, the pair find the phone ringing. It's the supervisor's call. The baby receives the news that he's going to be fired, so he throws the phone at Timothy and makes a crying face. However, the boy tries to comfort him, but ends up being attacked by the youngest. The little boy starts blackmailing him, because if he's fired he'll stay in his brother's house forever, so that the two of them can grow old together. Tim agrees to help him so that he can never see him again. Suddenly, they find an advertisement for a special day at PuppyCo, where parents take their children to work. The boy believes that this is a good plan for them to break into the company and find out who the new dog created by the company is. Soon after, they show their parents how much they love each other, even though they hate each other. The next day, Timothy feeds his brother, but when his parents leave, the little one spits everything in his face. Later, the young man dresses the boss baby in a sailor outfit that he really hates, so his parents buy the same uniform for the pair, and they are forced to do a photo shoot together wearing the funny outfit. While Tim reads a story to the baby, they end up enjoying each other's company without realizing it. Mr. Templeton then tells them that he is taking his two sons to work, and that his eldest son is now free from punishment. When they arrive at the company, they are faced with thousands of dogs of all kinds, so his parents propose that Timothy leaves the baby in the puppy area to enjoy the ride, but the youngster prefers to stay with his brother rather than his parents. Without wasting any time, the pair sneak around the company, finding a room that could hold the secret file on the dog. What's more, there's a small door for animals to enter. Tim finds a small dog costume for Boss Baby to break into. On his way there, he ends up being captured by a girl, but manages to get rid of her easily. Timothy then forces the baby to crawl, and a dog starts following him, attracting dozens of other dogs, who start biting him and pulling at his clothes, causing young Templeton to throw a ball and distract them all. The boss baby manages to run towards the door, but is grabbed by a security guard, but he gives the guy a lick on the face and manages to get into the room, opening the door for his brother to enter as well. In the mysterious place, there is an archive full of boxes, and at the end of a corridor they come across a separate box, on which is written the phrase, "New Pop." They have to fool the security system by placing a briefcase with the same weight as the original. However, when they manage to swap the tokens around, Boss Baby ends up spilling some drool on the place, causing a device to be triggered, starting a circuit that causes them to be locked in a cage. When they open the original file in their hands, they come across the phrase, "Gotcha." A man in a giant dog costume appears. Then they are taken to some kind of elegant room, where a guy called Francis E. Francis appears in a chair and introduces his older brother called Eugene. The man reveals that he has a Baby Corp pacifier, then asks Boss Baby if he doesn't recognize him, since he used to be his hero. The guy tells him that he used to be known as Super Colossal Big Fat Boss Baby, but that he got old and became evil. In the past, the man was growing a lot within the company and even got a room with his own toilet. However, on a normal day, he realized that he was getting old because the anti-aging formula was no longer working. Faced with this situation, he was replaced by a younger female baby. She began to receive all the attention from the company, so the former boss was fired and forced to live with a family on Earth. He decided to take revenge on the company by using the Forever Puppy, a being that will be a puppy for the rest of its life, making it so that no human will want to have any more children. The man has obtained the boss's baby's secret formula to perfect his prototype dog. In addition, he has captured Mr. and Mrs. Templeton as prisoners and is taking them to Las Vegas, threatening to end their lives if the brothers don't cooperate. The guy will also keep an eye on Eugene, pretending to be a babysitter, so that the couple don't worry or suspect anything. Then they go on a trip and the two brothers are left alone to plan how to lose the nanny and save their parents. Suddenly, Boss Baby starts acting like a real newborn, as the magic formula is no longer working, turning him into an ordinary baby. Nevertheless, they continue with their plan and the baby appears with a greenish face, telling Eugene that he is sick. The pair of brothers use a vacuum cleaner to spray some disgusting goo on the man, pretending it's the little one's lick. The guy goes to the toilet to flush everything out and the two lock him in, taking the opportunity to escape. However, they are surprised when the nanny appears with the toilet on his head, so they use a bicycle and flee down a flight of stairs, while their pursuer follows close behind using a trolley as a skateboard. Boss Baby activates the red code to trigger the other babies in the team. As he passes a traffic light, Eugene deftly swerves his makeshift skateboard into a car and manages to reach the children. Shortly afterwards, the other members appear and Jimbo goes after the man, hitting him in the face with a toy. The child's weapon is broken and he goes berserk, attacking Eugene with fury. He throws Jimbo away, smashing into a car, but the child gets up and continues to pursue his adversary. Meanwhile, the other members of the team strike several blows to the man, who tries to hold on to the vehicle, but the giant baby tickles him and the little one is thrown into the air. Timothy has to increase the speed at which he pedals his bike, so his brother begins to instruct him. However, they end up losing the wheels, which terrifies the boy. His brother encourages him to take control because there are several trees ahead, so he can steer clear. Soon after, the pair see the car that is taking their parents, but there is a train coming at high speed and young Templeton has to jump over it using a mountain of sand. In this way, they reach the airport, which they sneak into through the baggage claim. Tim runs to his parents, but realizes that his brother is becoming a real baby once again, so he returns to pick him up. When the adults are about to board the plane, the boy calls out to them, but the evil man pushes them into the aircraft, leaving the children alone. The two brothers start fighting and the Boss Baby decides to leave. After a while, Tim receives a call from the baby, who confesses that he doesn't know what it's like to be part of a family, which is why he was hired by Baby Corp. In fact, the little one is still at the airport and asks them to team up again to defeat Francis E. Francis. The pair then have to find a flight to Las Vegas and spot dozens of people dressed as Elvis. They steal the costume of one of them while the guy is using the restroom, managing to fool the security guard and board the plane. During takeoff, Timothy starts to get nervous because his parents always hold his hand at that moment, so his younger brother takes over and calms him down. Suddenly, a stewardess surprises the boys by questioning their presence in first class and Tim admits that they are the captain's children, asking her to bring them various treats. After landing in the city, the two pretend to be underprivileged children and ask some girls to take them to the Las Vegas Convention Center, where their parents are. When they arrive, the pair are surprised by the many attractions and thousands of people in the center. Tim looks for puppy company, but realizes that the enemy is already chasing them. At that moment, Boss Baby returns to being an unconscious baby, so his older brother picks him up and runs away. While Mr. and Mrs. Templeton are on stage presenting Forever Puppy, they realize that their children are in the audience. Before they have time to question what is happening, the couple is arrested by Francis E. Francis. The children flee through some pipes as Eugene chases them, until they reach a place where there is a cauldron full of the magic formula and a rocket, which the puppies enter. The boys are surprised when the madman appears once again. Nevertheless, they manage to dodge him and head for the rocket base to save their parents. However, Francis appears and starts the launch. The guy then corners the pair, but Boss Baby starts to tickle him and manages to escape. Even so, he throws his cane at both of them, leaving them on the edge of the cliff. So, when they are about to fall into the abyss, they imagine themselves as pirates and the older brother throws the baby over the side of the ship, starting a double fight against the big boss and throwing him away. The two children run towards the dogs, catching two of them that have parachutes, allowing them to jump and land near the equipment that is imprisoning their parents. The rocket is about to take off and they need to release the dogs before it does. Timothy throws his brother up into the air to open the door that holds the animals. After freeing the dogs, Boss Baby ends up becoming an irrational baby again, with only a few seconds left before the spaceship takes off. As a result, his companion begs him to jump to the ground. However, the little boy begins to cry without understanding anything, so Tim sings a song so that he understands his words and manages to save him. Now the Boss Baby drinks some of the magic formula and is back to normal. However, Francis appears angry because the two brothers have freed the dogs, so Eugene holds him in his lap and reassures him using a pacifier. Then the children finally free their parents. After a few days, the boss says goodbye to his employees and his mission partner congratulates him on his promotion at work. He wants to leave, but his company needs to start a procedure so that his parents don't remember him. Soon after, the little boy hands over Tim's favorite teddy bear. After the baby's departure, some mini-workers remove everything related to him from the house, but his brother chooses not to forget the youngest. Meanwhile, at Baby Corp, Boss Baby receives a surprise party and is promoted. He is also surprised by a package and realizes that it is a gift from Timothy. Inside the box, there are dozens of toy pieces and a letter in which the boy says he wants to give all his love to his brother. Then Boss Baby runs through the corridors of the company and messes up the entire statistics system, leaving all the employees stunned. So he flees to Earth once again. In the morning, Timothy wakes up and goes to the window to look out onto the street. Just then, a cab pulls up and the boy comes across the baby, who will now be called Theodore. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.